Hello. I want to introduce you to something that I've been working on. It's gonna show you a couple of things. One, my partial attempt at recreating this in Blender, which isn't easy because Blender doesn't have that pretty background going on there. This is in preparation of Blender 2.8 with the eevee viewport renderer. It is going to be a PBR, physical based rendering, just like Unreal. There's a few differences. Sorry about that. But let me get to it here. Okay, I've got one up here. As you can see, this is my shoddy attempt at recreating the material we were just looking at here, which one are you? The tech panel, which would be awesome, but it was just something to attempt to make sure I could get a material with the basics, I guess, out of Blender. As you can see, I've got a fairly extensive node tree here. Blender users, might not like this, but instead of using the mapping node to alter your UVs, just do it like you would in Unreal. Multiply the UV by a value. Except you're going to want to use a mix node for that, because it allows you to do math with vectors. Let's see, what else? Node group, made a lerp node here, just something simple. I've got a few of those in, and you'll see what I got to work on with that in a little bit. Anyway, on to it. Okay, file, user preferences, and once again, if I haven't said it already, the reason why I'm not using the 4.8 is because it seems to crash an awful lot on me. So until it's stable, I'm going to work here in for the 2.79. Just set it to cycles renderer and set it to material. Rendered, what does that give us? I mean, it's alright, but the material is quicker and it seems to be a little more similar to what you're going to get out of it. Yes, this add-on does work in the 4.8, but as I said, it likes to crash out, especially when I mess with these buttons here, going from world to object with the material. But this is just my experience, so maybe different. Anyway, on to it. What I've created here is a way to get all your hard work out of Blender in the node editor into Unreal. I'm calling it BLUEMaN or Project BLUEMaN, depending on where you find it. We have a couple of options. Default, it's going to go through every node and every node group, and it is going to find everything that it is capable of converting over. Now, more nodes are going to be added later, such as with the mix shaders. We have just plenty of these are in the Unreal Engine material editor, and they will be added, but right now it's just the math functions: add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But with my code, I have made sure that it's fairly easy to add nodes, so by the time everybody gets this or is able to get this, there will be as many nodes as possible supported. Now, I'm not saying that there's no node that will be supported. I mean, there are things in here that let's see here, we got this texture coordinate. Okay, but there's not a direct conversion in Unreal. Let's see here, add texture. Let's see here, go with text texture coordinate. And over here, and we've got our coordinate index, which will be supported, but we don't have the extra stuff here. We don't have normal UV, object, camera, window, reflection. Those are different things. You know, let's see here, normal, vertex normal. I mean, that would, I'll have to look into it, but I'm sure that would convert over. But I'm gonna have to go through here and find which pin you're hooked up to. You know what? Well, that's more of a scene thing. But for right now, you know, you get your UV map, which is the text coord in Unreal, and just use it. And how do you modify the UVs in Unreal? Well, you take those and you multiply, add, lerp, whatever, by a value, and go on from there. Yeah, yes, I do realize that mapping node gives you this, but to be completely honest, it's a little quicker to just do this setup, at least for me. Anyway, on to it. So when we hit this button, alright, clipboard is empty. For Linux users, if you use KDE, you will have to start Clipper manually in a terminal. Preferably just, you know, open up console and type in Clipper, hit enter. It'll end up showing 2 here, but the pipe that is set up doesn't work with the Plasma widget, or the widget that comes in here. With a little bit of googling, you can set it up to where the command line Clipper runs instead of the widget. But that being said, when you click this button, what it's going to do is it's going to go through every node that is here in this material, and it does tell you which material is active. It goes through all of them. If it supports it, it converts it. If it does not, it will let you know and then go to the next one in the list. So as you can see here, material node material output of type shader node output material is not supported yet, and that is this guy right here. Okay, so we come over here to our material, and we just go ahead and check use material attributes, and then we hit Control V, and on our normal we will have to set that up to use normal. It's another thing I've got to do, see which pin is connected. But what we've done is we've taken something, you know, our work in Blender, and we've saved this much time. The goal in the end is to make sure that what you see in Blender is what you see in Unreal. There are differences, so may not be an exact one-to-one, but it will save you a ton of time. Now this mess here in the middle, where all the spaghetti wires are coming, these are the node groups. That's another thing I've got to work on. Each node group, you know, the nodes within have their own coordinates, with the origin set to, you know, 0, 0, 0 or 0, 0 or whatever. But I'm going to try and figure out a way to keep it nice and neat and tidy, but for the time being, they are there. You just grab your nodes. If you've made your nodes, you should know what's going on with it, and or don't. You know, it's there, it's hooked up, it's working. What I'm doing is each one of these inputs for your node group gets replaced with a reroute node, and it is connected up to the node that it's supposed to go to internally. It's actually kind of beautiful. True, this and this look way different, but for the most part you can see what's going on. Later I'm going to be adding a library of node groups that will hopefully best replicate the nodes that are in Unreal, like the lerp node. This Unreal does have its own lerp node. I don't know what's going to happen with the 2.8, but at the moment in the material editor we do not have a time node, which would be awesome for something the equivalent of the panner node in the Unreal Engine material editor. But this is what I have. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and reload. Come on over here, node editor, cycles. We want the material to use nodes. Alright, and now I will show you the color, mix RGB. Yeah, we'll just make ourselves a node group here, and it really doesn't matter. If you make it, I make it, you get it from somewhere. Control G, there we go. And there. Now we've got our node group, and yes, it will dive deeper if you have a node group that has a node group within a node group, but actually we'll just go ahead and this is just nothing. The separate RGB, separate XYZ, those I'm going to treat all the same, because I mean it equates to the breakout or break to float 3, float 4, whatever. And an output. What do we want for an output? Yeah, we'll just hook you up to here. Okay, so we've got this, and go to user preferences, material. Alright, and that, yeah, there's another thing. Let's show you. Okay, we can only copy the selected. Alright, so after you export your material, you know, you fix something in Blender, or you're working in Blender and haven't opened up, or you know, whatever changes you make here, you can copy just those small changes and reattach them. So, and then we have printing output to the console. The reason why I do this is if for whatever reason the clipboard's not working for you, if you open up Blender with a console, it will print to it and you'll be able to copy it from there. And it tells us the diffuse tells you what's supported, what's not. Right here, diffuse BSDF is not supported, material output is not supported. Now we can fix that just by switching it to a principled, but here's what I wanted to show you. It tells you where to copy from. Now of course your terminal needs to be set up to hold the information. If you go into settings, I don't know where it's at on Windows or Mac, but you can configure it to where it will display way more lines or hold more lines in the cache. Anyway, going back to it, Control V again, and as you can see, what it did was it the nodes. Alright, come on now. And it just converted the inputs, and the input node converted those to reroute nodes. So we have another reroute node here. So it's just something to make it a little easier. And once I've got the separation down to where everything ends up close to where it's supposed to be, or where it needs to be, it'll be a little easier. But like I said, if it looks good, you know, hey, there you go. Don't mess with it unless you got to, huh? Alright, what else was I gonna show? I guess that's it for now. I've still got a lot of nodes to add to the definitions, and by the time 8 comes out, we'll be able to use Blender, stay in it as long as possible, and when we get ready to export, we'll be able to copy our work from Blender over to Unreal, and it'll be awesome. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.